All right, here we are again. Today's lesson is for Friday, March 27th. Again, this is Friday, March 27th. You'll also be clearing out your binder. So basically just get rid of your adaptation flashcards and Mad Minute paper. Keep everything else. And then hopefully you have the paper copies and you have already gotten those picked up from the school, and you can get those flashcards cut. Do your Mad Minute for today. If you did not get the papers from the school, you should have, in that packet was the new notes for the cell reproduction. There was the Mad Minute paper, and then there were the flashcards. So if you have a printer, you might want to print these at that time or at this time. If you don't have a printer, then you're going to just need to follow along with me. You have the teacher set, like this version, in Google Classroom under the classwork tab under unit links, or not unit links, unit materials. So you should be able to access them that way. I will also have a filled in student copy posted, so you can look at that. Obviously it's better interactive if you can fill things in as we go. So if you have a printer option, that would be great. If not, that's why I have the paper copies in the office. You would just need to call in because I'm not sure exactly, who is going to be in, but definitely call before you would come. But they still have my copies in the office so that you could get a packet if you need it. So there's 3 different ways. You can print it, you can pick it up in the office, or you can follow along on Google Classroom. There's going to be a lot of videos in this unit, and I will have all those linked with the day that the notes cover that information. So just make sure that you're watching all of those and let me know if anything doesn't work. They're really, really good videos that can go into a lot more depth and more explanation than I can give up here. So again, hope your week is going well and that everything is under control. If you need something, again, always email me, all right? I don't know if something is wrong or you need help unless you let me know. So hopefully everything is good for you. Okay, so we are going to move on to cell reproduction. We are all in now on life science. So we're leaving all the earth science stuff behind us. Remember last June I said it was kind of like a blend and mix between the two, earth science and life science. Now we are strictly on life science. So we are going to look at cell reproduction, right? And so there's 2 main types of ways that cells can divide or reproduce: mitosis and meiosis. So we know that an individual organism does not live forever. And so reproduction is necessary for the continuation of every species, right? So they have to pass on their genetic information to their offspring, and then their offspring will do the same, and then you get that transferring on and on from ancestor to descendant over and over. So we have to transfer that genetic information from one generation to the next. And obviously it's necessary. That's how species are going to continue to live. And there's 2 ways that this can happen. Asexual reproduction, where you have one organism that basically produces a genetically identical copy or a clone of itself. And then you also have sexual reproduction, where it's 2 organisms that produce a genetically similar. You're going to see these terms a lot: genetically identical and genetically similar. Those are very important, and they're very specific to the type of reproduction that they are associated with. Again, there might be a few words in this unit that you guys are kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm glad that we're not face to face and she has to see my face. Well, we have to say these words: sexual and asexual. We are not health class here. We are not getting into details that you might be thinking of. We are looking strictly at the cellular level, what's going on, and how a new species, or how a species can reproduce and have offspring. All right, so how does a cell do this? How does a cell divide to make new cells? Or excuse me, not how, why? The first thing is to make new organisms. That's kind of like goal number 1, right? Is to be able to pass that genetic information on to the next generation. But we also have to grow. Think about it. This little baby isn't going to stay a baby forever, just like none of us did. We've all gone through stages. We all might look, well, you guys might look closer now to what you're going to look like as an adult than you did when you were a year old, but there's still growth that you guys have to do. Hopefully at this point, I'm not growing anymore because the only place I'm going to grow is going to be this way, and hopefully that does not happen. Repair. I know a lot of you in here have had broken bones. We've had a lot of injuries this year, actually, but not even this year. If you've ever had some kind of injury, it doesn't stay broken or hurt or messed up permanently, right? Your body, given the chance, can help repair that. Sometimes you need help with doctors to make that happen, but if they get you in the right situation, get that bone reset, then the bone will take over from there. And so a cell does this through two processes. One is called mitosis and one is called meiosis. Notice how I have the ME capitalized and the ME here. It makes me, right? That, like, if you say that, like, it's how all of us got here. So it's what made me. It's what made you as well, but say it from your point of view, and that's how we all got here. All right, and obviously we'll get into those a lot of detail here. And so how does the cell even know when to divide or what it's dividing for? Is it dividing for reproduction? Is it dividing for growth? Or is it dividing for repair? And so all of those instructions are in a cell's DNA, all right, which is deoxyribonucleic acid. And we will get into that. There are quite a few brain pops and also a Bill Nye that you will watch as well. Okay, so every organism is made of cells. Cells have organelles, or little organ is what that means, organelle, inside the nucleus, okay? So here's an organism, showing a person, here's a cell, here's the nucleus, and then inside the nucleus, we have DNA, right? And so our chromosomes hold our DNA. So if we're looking at it from the smallest to the biggest, we go, DNA fits inside the chromosome fits inside the nucleus fits inside the cell fits inside the organism. And then, obviously, what I just said, the chromosomes are found in the nucleus. You guys should have talked about this with Mrs. Regal, I believe, in 6th grade. You went through all the different types of tiny organs, like the mitochondria, the endoplasmic reticulum. You looked at a lot of those different type of organelles. And just like in our body, organelles each have a specific function for the cell. So, you know, maybe it's for digestion in a way. Maybe it's for excretion of waste materials. Maybe it's for processing of energy. So there's lots of different reasons or functions for these different organelles, just like our organs all have a very specific function as well. Okay, and then the DNA is found in the chromosome. So, and that picture shows that. Here's a brain pop. It will be linked under Friday the 27th information that matches these notes. All right, so chromosomes. This is kind of a big thing for this unit. We have these thread-like structures that are located in the nucleus of animal and plant cells. And each chromosome is made of protein and a single molecule of DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid. This video is going to show that really, really well. So this is, the red one is considered a chromosome, and then the purple one is considered a chromosome, and these are called homologous chromosome pairs. There's that prefix homo again, meaning same, and so it's containing similar information. We call these two strands sister chromatids, and we'll get into that a little bit more as well. So there's going to be some information that I introduced to you in this unit that's not necessarily something that I need you to be able to explain or to use. It's more just to give you the big picture, because a lot of times it's hard. Things that I'm not supposed to teach you or don't need to teach you according to our state standards, if I leave some of that information out, it just makes things a little bit more confusing. So this is one of those units. I'm going to put in a little bit more information than you probably need. And then obviously through your practice and through your study guide, you'll know exactly what things I'm going to be requiring you to know. But sometimes giving you more information at this point helps you get a big picture and it makes it more clear. So just kind of understand some of this more technical stuff is just for you to kind of get introduced to. And then again, when you get to biology with Mr. Trainer, you guys will cover this in detail, and then you will need to know it, but you're getting kind of good introduction this year. And so DNA is what contains the instructions for each cell. So remember back a few minutes ago when we said, well, how does a cell know what to do, when to do it? The DNA, it's like the directions, it's the manual that basically decides who we are, what we are physically, and that kind of thing. Now, obviously, there's some environmental impacts that we'll talk about, but at the genetic level, the DNA has the information for how we are going to be basically set up. Okay, another brain pop. Here we have asexual reproduction and kind of those specifics, and so I'll let you watch that on your own. But cells are going to divide and reproduce using mitosis for several reasons. So this is an important slide. You definitely are going to need to know the information on this, which is slide number 6. So body cells. All right, so what is a body cell? It's any cell in our body that doesn't have to do with the egg or the sperm cell or what we call the gametes, okay? So heart cell, lung cell, liver cell, blood cell, skin cell, all of those, every other type of cell in our body is a body cell. So obviously, most cells in our body are body cells. So unless it's one of the sex cells or gametes, it's a body cell. But body cells will use this process for growth. So this is what we like to get bigger. All of us had to go through meiotic cell division or the mitosis process because your bones had to get bigger, right? You had to have more mass, you had to have more length added to them. So all of that was through the mitosis process. Repairing, if a cell gets damaged, might just be worn out, or just at the end of its natural life cycle. A cell's not going to live forever. It's just like every living thing. It has a natural lifespan. And so at some point, it is going to, to die, to pass away and not be useful anymore. And so when that cell dies, you need another cell there to replace it. And mitosis provides that. So here's kind of a gross fun fact for you. We are constantly shedding off skin cells, and we do this about 1 million times a day. 1 million skin cells fall off of us a day, and that adds up to about 9 pounds every single year. So if that doesn't make you want to change your sheets and clean out your mattress and vacuum things up a little bit, it's just ugh, right? Not to totally gross you out, but there you go. We know that some animals can regenerate, like lizards and starfish, right? They can lose a limb or an appendage and then it will grow back. Obviously, we don't have that capability. That'd be pretty cool. We don't, but some species can do that. Here's a special category. Some organisms are going to use mitosis for reproduction. Obviously, we do not, all right? Mitosis for humans is just for growth, repair, and then, to take care of these categories of actions. Now, asexual reproduction is mitosis, and it makes a clone, an exact copy of the organism, right? It's genetically identical. And we'll look at some more examples of those here in the next couple days. All right, so here's another brain pop. I told you there were a ton of videos for this unit, and they are all going to be very, very useful to you, especially since we're not here and you're not asking active questions and we're not getting discussions and things. So please make sure you're watching those, and if those do not work, let me know. They should be good to go. I have you all in a brain pop class now, so you should all have access to those if you click the G Suite for Education when you go to the login screen. You don't need to enter in anything. You just click that G Suite for Education and it should pop right up for you. No login, no sign in or anything like that. So during mitosis, the nucleus is going to divide to form 2 genetically identical nuclei, which is the plural form of the nucleus, kind of a weird plural version. And so there's 2 different end games. The end game for a body cell, which was everything except for those sex cells, is just to repair or replace that existing cell. But the end game for reproduction for certain plants and organisms is to make a whole new organism that is genetically identical to the original parent. And again, there's those words again, genetically identical. That goes with mitosis. That is for asexual reproduction. Those three things go together: mitosis, asexual reproduction, and genetically identical. So here's some advantages. All genes are going to come from one parent. You only need one parent. So if populations are scarce, well, you don't have to try to find a mate. There only needs to be one individual. Something called genetic continuity. So if you have a healthy parent that is surviving well in the environment and doing fine, chances are the offspring, since it's going to be identical to the parent, will also be healthy, successful, and do fine in the environment. Now, the only thing that can be an issue, what happens if the environment changes? And now you have an offspring that's identical to the parent. The parent's going to be kind of in trouble and maybe not fit very well in the new environment. Same thing's going to happen to the offspring. So this can be a benefit, but this can also be a disadvantage as well, depending on if things would change. And then finally, this takes less energy. And then in our next section or session of notes that we're going to do, we're going to get into the stages of mitosis briefly, and you'll see, kind of the process that is involved. It takes less energy than meiosis. It's simpler. It's basically about half of the time that it would take for meiosis to happen, and so that is an advantage. So you are going to need to know some advantages of mitosis. So this is also a good slide, maybe if you want to put like a little star by it or something like that. Again, I will have all of the links for these videos. I think there's like 5 or 6 of them in the in the information for Friday, March 27th. So I hope that you guys had a good week, or whenever you're doing this. Again, please try to make sure that you are staying in order. I don't care when you do things, but stay in order Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then if there's any assignments or any actual graded work, please make sure that you have that in by that Friday. Even if the assignment was maybe, let's say, on a Tuesday, just make sure that you get everything in by Friday so you don't get yourself kind of backlogged and stressed out. Okay? Have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Thanks.